Hello, Gautam, and welcome to Nasscom. So, I'm going to start off with the first question on the red carpet. That is the digital trend of 2017. According to you, what is that one digital trend everyone's going to be talking about?
I think it's still automation, and I think automation means a lot of different things to a lot of people, and that's what this conference helps us do, is make sense of the different spectrum of what's available out there for automation and all the different things that people are doing in real life with automation.
Now, how different is this year's Nasscom from the last time that you were here?
The biggest difference for me is I think from last year, a lot of the things that were being talked about were still theoretical. There were ideas that were being talked about, and there wasn't really a lot of practical application of the technologies and what were happening. It was more of a what is the possibility. I think a big difference in this year is there has been some real work done with organizations taking advantage of different technologies and tools and actually having some work and some projects under their belt in the automation space. So there's a lot more proof points and ways to move forward, and I think the journey is becoming a lot more clear and the path is more clear. So it's gone more from vision to reality in my mind.
Now, Nasscom does like to tap into the disturbance, the disturbance force. They're like the Jedis. They like, I sense disturbance in the force. According to you, what is that one disturbing piece of tech that's going to disturb your way of doing business, your way of doing work?
I think, again, it comes down to a combination of things. I think the biggest thing is taking advantage of technology to improve ultimately what your client experiences. Now, in a lot of cases, people still talk about replacing workers at the KPO, BPO level and doing other things, but I think more than that, it really comes down to how do you improve your customer experience, how do you improve the quality of work that you do for them, and how do you differentiate yourself from your competition. And I think if that focus is there, then that's going to be the primary driver of using technology to improve that experience.
Now let's talk a little bit deeper into this disturbance. According to you, which is the most disrupting factor in the world that we live today? Is it the man, or is it the machine that he builds, or is it the root of all evil, the money?
I think ultimately it still comes down to the man and what he does with his creation. I think money is always going to be an angle and it's always going to be there, and machines are still today a product of what man builds. I think it's starting to man's starting to see what that power is and what the capabilities are, but there's still always a person involved, and there's still always, I firmly believe there's still always a need for a human. We call it human in the loop, and there's always going to be that need for man in that cycle.
Well, now let's talk about it a little bit personal. What is that one piece of tech that you can't leave your home without?
My mobile phone?
And what would it take for you to trade your phone with me right here, right now?
It wouldn't take a lot, actually. I think if you offered me a week on the beach in Sri Lanka, I'd give up my phone.
How sure are you about that?
I am very sure.
So if I just get you a trip right now to Sri Lanka, 1 week on the beach, I get your phone.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Let's see if we can hook you that with that. But before I do get your phone, let's talk a little more about Nasscom, about the leaders are here. What was your favorite part in all the sessions that you've done? What is that one thing that you're going to go back to New York and tell people about?
Well, I have to be selfish. It was really hearing my own CEO in the session yesterday that really got into a lot of detail around how you can apply digitization and automation and machine learning in real application. And I think that has to be the one that really stole the moment for me. It was also good to hear Mukesh Ambani talk about, data being the new oil and how it's become a very critical part of our lives in everything we do, right? And there's some examples thrown out there about where very targeted marketing where a father came into a pharmacy and got very upset that the pharmacy was targeting his teenage daughter with baby items. And about 3 weeks later, he called back to apologize because his daughter told him that she was pregnant. And because of what types of things she was doing and the data that they gathered on her shopping patterns, they were able to predict that she was pregnant. And so that was a very relevant example that was thrown out there.
All right. So about this year's theme, which is the 25th year of Nasscom, the theme is reimagine, not re-engineer. What do you make out of that? What's your point on that?
I think it's really a very important point in the journey of truly taking a step in a different direction. In the past, the tendency of generally software and service companies has always been how do we continue to incrementally improve ourselves. And that is a function of going back to probably preserving some margins, not really trying to change the model too much, which might affect the money angle of things. But I think at this point, it's very clear that that jump-off point has come, and it's time to jump off the cliff and truly re-engineer and take that next step, which won't be an incremental change. It's time to get that up that exponential curve of change, which will require that re-engineer concept to come into place. And we've seen that through all of the sessions and the speakers.
All right, now, if I had to ask that one thing you miss in India that you can't find in New York, what would that be?
I still think it's the food. There's a lot of Indian options in India, I mean in the US and New York, but still the food for me, by far.
So I really hope you enjoy your time here at Nasscom, and we'll see you next year, hopefully. Thank you so much.